You may ask, how do I become conscious? Or what is consciousness? You may have that question because you've read about consciousness and wondered about it, or maybe because you've been accused by someone of not being conscious. It is said with great disdain, oh, he is so unconscious, or she is so unconscious. Well, what does it mean? It depends what realm we're talking about, or who the person saying that sentence is talking about, what realm they're talking about. You could be, for example, environmentally conscious or unconscious, or socially so, or politically so, or psychologically or spiritually, just to name a few. Financially, all kinds of ways you could be conscious or unconscious. To be unconscious would mean you really don't know anything about it, the impact that you have, or what's going on in that realm, what matters, where other people are in that, or what is important right now in that realm, and that you haven't done anything with your own actions to help. So if you're environmentally unconscious, you drive big cars and waste a lot of gas, or you litter, or you do many things that are bad for the environment, or you just don't care. You haven't even read up or heard anything on global warming and even considered how you might change your actions. If you were to be environmentally conscious, you would have done your homework and learned, and then adapted your behavior and spread what you've known to others. Hopefully not in a mean way or in a judgmental or damning way of others, but instead in a positive, enthusiastic way, assuming that others probably will want to do good if they knew how. If you're socially conscious or politically conscious, you may be aware of other people who aren't the same as you, either same in looks or in socioeconomic status, or from other countries or other cultures, and what is happening for them that you've bothered to learn and tune in and read about and listen to and watch things on it, so that you can understand what's going on in other parts of the world and get a little below just what the typical news says. Have done a little more work to understand maybe the truth that you're not getting in the news of what's actually going on in the world, so that you can question authority in these areas, and you can go deeper to not just buy whatever is being handed out to you by a media that is completely bought out by the dominant control structures of our society. If you're psychologically unconscious, it means that you don't understand where other people are coming from, and most of all, you don't understand where you're coming from. You've never bothered to examine your life or the influence your childhood's had on you. You've never bothered to find out how you affect other people, how irritating you may be to other people, and why. You've never delved into why you get mean or impatient, or how you might change any of that. And if you're psychologically conscious, you would have learned about people and personality types. You may have studied astrology or other personality types to discover that people are different than you, and that not all people are the same, and they're not supposed to be the same. There's different personalities. And to understand the rudimentary facts about how we project onto other people, and how various mental and emotional disorders may affect us. So you sort of know, and you've tried to be more conscious about when you're projecting, or when you're misunderstanding, or when you're loosing your emotions on other people. Now, how about spiritually conscious? To be spiritually unconscious would mean that you, one, don't care at all about what is spiritual. you've never bothered to do any homework on it or any studies or delve into anything in the spiritual realm. Or it can also be that you've just latched on to the thing you were raised with, or the first thing you came across, and you assume it's totally right, and whoever's not in that club is wrong, and that's just how it is, and you judge everyone based on your belief system. To be spiritually conscious is that you'd actually have searched to find what is true, that you've searched to find what are the greatest heights people have ever gotten to spiritually. What is possible in the spiritual realm? How did the great spiritual teachers and avatars of all times, what was it like? What were they like? How did they get there? That you've studied some of the saints and examples we have of those who have become spiritually enlightened and have become leaders spiritually, and that you've begun to search in yourself how you might grow spiritually, how you might become all that you can be in the spiritual realm, that you've sought out teachers and spiritual communities and spiritual paths, and actually deeply investigated. And once you found what felt right to you, what seemed like a match, that you then actually have pursued a spiritual path, not just read about it and thought about it and had all kinds of intellectual concepts and good feelings about it, but you actually have entered upon that path and you are nicely progressing on your spiritual development. That would be spiritual consciousness. In whatever form it is, it may be newborn spiritual consciousness. You've just barely started. Or you may have moved along a ways and you've learned spiritual disciplines and practices and you've had real experiences of God and the divine. And as you deepen in those, you become more conscious of the spiritual world, more conscious of God, of what is real in terms of spirituality. Then you enter into the bliss, the joy, the inner peace of knowing for yourself what is true spiritually and growing in that consciousness. It is what we're created for, is to grow in consciousness. And it's what we need to pursue all the time that we're alive and on earth. It will be a joy. It is worth everything you put into it. But it will take the work and the dedication. May you be blessed as you enter upon that path.